God says, there is a silent threat in your life, and unbelievably, that snake is your own doubt. It slithers through your thoughts without noise, wrapping itself around your heart so slowly that you barely notice. It tells you that you're not enough, that your prayers go unheard, and that maybe, just maybe, you are forgotten. It hides behind tired eyes and busy schedules, creeping into quiet moments, whispering lies when no one else is around. It isn't loud or obvious. It doesn't strike like a thunderclap. It waits, it watches, and it slowly steals your joy, your peace, and your trust in the one who holds you in his hands. Type 2222 if you believe this threat doesn't always look like evil. Sometimes it looks like self-reliance. Sometimes it shows up as distraction, pride, or even busyness. It disguises itself as logic, as being realistic, or as protecting your heart. But underneath it all, it's the same serpent that once questioned Eve with, "Did God really say?" It casts shadows where light is supposed to be. It slips into places where God should be ruling. And worst of all, it does this in silence, pretending to be part of you, when in reality it is working to destroy the very part of you that was made to live in the presence of God. It does not yell, it whispers. It does not pull you away with force. It leads you gently, step by step, until you find yourself far from the place you used to be, until the passion is gone, until the flame is faint, until prayer feels dry and worship feels routine, until faith becomes a thing of memory instead of a living, breathing part of your soul. That snake does not come to scare you. It comes to lull you into comfort until you forget you are at war, until your heart grows numb and your spirit grows tired and you accept the lie that this is all there is. But there is a voice stronger than that whisper. There is a shepherd who knows how to call his sheep back home even when they've wandered. There is a father who stands waiting with open arms, no matter how long you've been gone. And there is a Savior who gave everything just to bring you back into the fold. Even when you feel far, even when the voice of the snake has grown loud, Jesus is still near. His love does not give up. His mercy does not run out. His hands still reach for you, not to punish you, but to pull you back into the light. He understands how heavy life can feel. He sees the weight you carry, the nights you cry alone, the thoughts that never let you rest. He knows what that silent threat has stolen from you, but more importantly, he knows how to restore it. He doesn't wait for you to fix it all before he helps. He comes into the mess. He steps into the silence. He places his peace where your anxiety lives, and he gently begins to untangle every lie the snake has wrapped around your heart. He starts with love. Then he brings truth. Then he fills you again with the kind of hope that doesn't depend on what you feel, but on who he is. Type 2525. If you trust in God, Jesus does not shame you for the battles you faced in secret. He does not walk away because of the doubts you've had. He meets you in the middle of them. He reminds you that he is not a distant God. He is not unreachable. He is not disappointed in your weakness. He is drawn to it. He loves to show his strength where you are weak. He loves to pour grace into the places that feel the most broken. He knows your thoughts before you speak them, and he still chooses you. He still calls you his own. He still wants to walk with you, even through the valleys of fear, shame, confusion, and regret. There is nothing too hidden for him to heal. There is no lie too deep for him to uproot. There is no darkness he cannot light up with his presence. Even the snake that slithers silently through your soul must bow to the authority of Jesus Christ. That voice of doubt, that fear, that bitterness, that heaviness, none of it is stronger than the love of your Savior. He came to crush the head of that serpent once and for all, and he did. He broke its power on the cross, and now he invites you to walk in that victory, to step into the light, and to live in the freedom that only he can give. You are not alone in this fight. Heaven stands with you. God fights for you. Jesus holds you. You don't have to pretend you're okay when you're not. You don't have to carry this by yourself. You don't need to hide your wounds, your fears, your regrets. You can bring them all to him. You can lay them down and let him heal what you cannot fix. His love is deep enough. His mercy is wide enough. His grace is strong enough. Even when you've forgotten how to pray, he still hears the cry of your heart. Even when the snake has convinced you that you've gone too far, Jesus is still calling you home. It's not always evil in plain sight. Sometimes it's the little compromises, the small things we ignore, the habits we say don't matter. That silent snake, unbelievably, sometimes looks like your own desires when they are not surrendered to God. It waits in the shadows of your thoughts, slowly convincing you that you can handle everything alone, that you don't need to bring it to God, that maybe, just maybe, he's busy with more important things. Type 333 if you know God is speaking to you. What if the missing piece to financial success wasn't luck, but a hidden frequency inside your brain waiting to be switched on? Once activated, this ancient signal unleashes waves of prosperity, opening doors to opportunities you never thought possible. From sudden windfalls to long-awaited breakthroughs, it's transforming lives daily. Want to see how? Click the link in the video description and comments below to tap into the money magnet brainwave and begin your journey today. Others are already awakening this hidden signal and watching their lives transform. Do not be the one left behind while abundance passes you by. But here's what you must never forget: God is never distant, and you are never too far gone. The enemy wants to blur the lines, to confuse your heart until you can't tell what's from God and what's just noise. But the Holy Spirit, gentle and steady, always leads back to peace, to clarity, to truth. The snake doesn't shout to be heard. It softly echoes your own thoughts, weaving itself so closely with your feelings that you can't see where your fears end and the lies begin. That's how it works. Slowly, quietly, until it convinces you to settle for a life far smaller than what Jesus died to give you. He came so you could walk free, not barely survive. But the snake makes survival feel noble, even spiritual. It tells you to be strong without God, to carry your pain like a badge of honor, to stay silent when your heart is breaking. It convinces you that healing is selfish, that joy is for someone else, that your purpose has passed you by. But every bit of that is a lie. Because the moment Jesus stepped into your life, your story took a different turn. His presence shifted the ground beneath you. His love reached into every part of your being, even the ones you try to hide. And he's still doing that, even now. There's a beautiful truth that softens the sharpest pain. Jesus never walks away from broken people. In fact, he draws even closer. The snake wants you to think your wounds disqualify you, but Jesus sees them and calls you worthy. The snake says you're too much, too messy, too late. Jesus says you're the one he left the 99 for. You are not invisible. You are not forgotten, even in the chaos, even in the quiet, especially there. He sits with you in the dark, not rushing you to the light, but holding you while you find your strength again. Type 555. If you believe Jesus is the only way, maybe the snake has made you believe that your mistakes define you. Maybe it's used your past to bind your present and paralyze your future. But God's mercy isn't intimidated by your history. His grace doesn't wear thin. He knew everything you would ever struggle with, and still, he chose to love you. Still, he sent his Son. Still, he placed his Spirit within you. Not to shame you for the journey, but to walk with you through every valley, every heartbreak, every doubt, until you know without a flicker of hesitation that you belong to him. Faith is not about perfection. It's about connection, staying close, keeping your heart open, letting God in even when you feel unworthy, letting him sit with you when you don't have the words to pray. There is a love that holds you even when your strength is gone. And that love is not based on what you do, it's rooted in who he is. Constant, gentle, strong, faithful. You don't have to earn his nearness. You don't have to work for his affection. You just have to come, as you are. Even if all you have left is a whisper, he hears it. Even if your spirit feels numb, he knows how to breathe life into it again. So much of life tries to distract you from what matters. The silent snake wraps itself in noise comparison, shame, pressure, pride, fear. But at the center of your being, there is still a flame that hasn't gone out, a part of you still anchored in God. A quiet knowing that you were made for more than surviving the storm. You were made to walk on water with Jesus, to move through life with grace and purpose, even when the waves rise. The threat is real, yes, but the power of God is greater. The snake is persistent, yes, but it will never be stronger than the one who crushed its head. Even now, Jesus is stretching out his hand toward you. He's not discouraged by how far you feel. He doesn't hesitate. He moves with love, with kindness, with urgency. He knows what you need before you speak it, and he is not coming with condemnation. He's coming with healing, with peace, with comfort. He is here to rebuild what the snake tried to destroy, to restore what the years have taken, to remind you that even if you feel like you've failed, you are still chosen, still loved, still wanted by heaven. You can rise again, not in your own strength, but in his. You can breathe again, laugh again, dream again. You don't have to carry the guilt. You don't have to hide the tears. He sees every part of you, and he stays. That's the beauty of his love. It never leaves when things get hard. It remains, it covers, it lifts. And even when everything else falls apart, Jesus holds you together. Let the truth sink in. The snake may whisper, but it cannot overpower the voice of God. It may accuse, but it cannot rewrite the story Jesus wrote with his own blood. It may tempt, but it cannot tear you from the grip of grace. You are safe in his hands. You are not defined by the battles you faced, but by the Savior who stood by you through them all. And that silent threat, that snake, may still try to creep in, but it has already been defeated. All you have to do now is walk forward one step at a time in the confidence that Jesus walks with you. It feeds on silence, on secrecy, and most of all, on distraction. Unbelievably, the silent threat could even be your comfort zone. That place where you tell yourself it's okay to stay small, to keep quiet, to never step out because it feels safer that way. But comfort without God is never peace. It's just a softer kind of prison. Type yes to affirm your trust in Jesus. They tried to hide this ancient 9-word prayer for decades, but it's finally been exposed, and those who speak it are seeing money flow into their lives in miraculous ways. Scientists reveal it awakens a neural pathway tied to abundance, joy, and opportunity. It's short, powerful, and life-altering. Thousands are already experiencing relief from debt and sudden wealth. Don't wait, click the link in the description and comments before it's removed forever. The enemy is clever. He doesn't always tempt with rebellion. Sometimes he offers routine. He tells you, this is good enough. Don't take risks. Don't trust too much. Don't dream too big. Don't pray too boldly. He convinces you to live just on the edge of faith, close enough to feel spiritual but far enough to avoid real surrender. And slowly, that snake tightens its grip. You stop expecting miracles. You stop asking for healing. You stop hoping for change. You tell yourself you're being realistic, when really, you're just slowly forgetting how to believe. But Jesus never called us to a life of safe faith. He didn't invite us to just be comfortable. He called us to follow him, even if it means walking into the unknown, even if it means giving up what feels secure, even if it means stepping out of the boat when the storm still rages. The silent threat wants you to play it safe, but the voice of God always leads you into deeper trust, deeper love, deeper purpose. He never forces, but he always invites. Always gently draws your heart closer, not to frighten you, but to show you what it means to truly live. You weren't made to settle. You weren't made to coast. You were created to carry something sacred. You were born for more than comfort, you were born for calling. The enemy doesn't fear your comfort. He fears your calling. He knows that when you realize who you are in Christ, you become dangerous to the darkness. He knows that when you step into obedience, lives change, hearts heal, and chains break. So, he works quietly, keeping you tame, discouraged, busy, distracted, or afraid, not by shouting lies, but by whispering half-truths that sound like wisdom. Stay small. Wait a little longer. Maybe you're not ready yet. Type 1212 if you walk by faith and not by fear. But the truth is, God isn't waiting for you to be perfect. He's waiting for you to be willing to believe again, willing to let go of what no longer belongs, willing to trust His plan even when you don't understand. The snake wants you to cling to safety, but God wants to give you security, the kind that isn't built on what you can control, but on who holds you when you can't. His love is not weak, it's not passive, it's not hesitant. It is bold, relentless, and powerful enough to push back every lie that's kept you bound. Maybe you've been holding on to something that looks harmless, but has been quietly stealing your peace. Maybe it's fear of failure, or the pressure to always have it together. Maybe it's the belief that you're not qualified, not good enough, not ready. Whatever it is, if it's keeping you from walking fully with God, it's not from Him. And the moment you realize that, you can begin to let it go. Not in your strength, but in His. Not because you've figured it all out, but because you trust the one who already has. Jesus is calling you out of that comfort zone not to make life harder, but to make your heart freer. He's not asking you to be fearless. He's asking you to trust Him more than your fear, to trust His voice above the noise, to remember that the same power that raised Him from the dead now lives in you. And that power is not meant to sit still. It's meant to move, to grow, to heal, to speak, to shine, to change the atmosphere around you. You are not powerless, you are not forgotten, and you are not made to stay stuck. Every time you choose faith over fear, you step on the head of that silent snake. Every time you say yes to God, even when it's hard, you loosen the grip of the enemy's lie. Every prayer, every moment of surrender, every step of obedience is a weapon, a declaration, a reminder that you don't belong to fear or shame or limitation. You belong to the God who split seas, who moved mountains, who healed broken bodies, who forgave sinners, and who still performs miracles today, not just for others, for you. God is not waiting for you to get your act together. He's waiting for you to let Him into the mess, into the fear, into the places you've kept closed off because you didn't think He'd want to be there. But that's exactly where He wants to go. Into the places you hide, the places that hurt, the places that need the most grace. He's not ashamed of your weakness. He doesn't recoil at your pain. He draws near, and He brings healing with Him, hope with Him, wholeness with Him. Don't let the snake convince you that playing it safe is holy. It isn't. Holiness isn't hiding from the world, it's shining in it. It's standing firm in who you are. It's loving boldly, living generously, and walking in the Spirit even when the path is uncertain. The safest place is not your comfort zone. It's the center of God's will. That's where peace lives. That's where freedom breathes. That's where joy begins to rise again like morning light after a long night. So take the step, speak the prayer, let go of what no longer serves your soul. You're not too late. You're not too broken. You're not too far behind. You are exactly where you need to be for grace to do its work. Let Jesus guide you out of the shadows and into the light. Let Him show you that the life you were afraid to dream about is still possible. Not because of who you are, but because of who He is, and He is faithful, always faithful. You may not feel brave, you may not feel ready, but faith isn't a feeling, it's a choice. A whisper in the storm that says, "I trust you, God, even here." And that whisper is louder in heaven than any shout of fear. That whisper moves angels. That whisper shakes darkness. That whisper is enough to start again, and again, and again. A powerful 9-word prayer once classified by secret agencies has now leaked, and it's quietly rewriting destinies. In under 30 seconds, it reprograms the mind to attract wealth and dissolve scarcity. Users are reporting surprise income, restored hope, and financial peace. But this page might be deleted at any time. Click the link now before it's taken down without warning. It makes you feel like it belongs, like it's a part of who you are. And without realizing it, that silent snake begins to change the way you see yourself, the way you see God, and the way you live. Unbelievably, the threat that steals your joy, weakens your faith, and dims your light could be something you've learned to live with, the voice of self-doubt. Type 1919 to receive miracles. It doesn't show up loudly. It slips in during quiet moments when your prayer feels unanswered, when your reflection in the mirror doesn't match who you thought you'd be by now, when someone else's life seems to move faster than yours. Self-doubt coils slowly, wrapping its lies in layers of logic. You're not enough. You're too much. You've failed too many times. It twists every truth until even love begins to feel like a question mark. You start to wonder if God really wants to use someone like you. You start to think maybe you misunderstood his calling. You start to shrink yourself to fit the silence. But Jesus never taught us to listen to that voice. He never called us to live timid, half-lit lives. He came to set captives free, not just from sin, but from the thoughts that hold us hostage. And still, he doesn't shout over your self-doubt. Instead, he gently reminds you of who you are. He speaks in steady truths, not because you've earned it, but because his love doesn't change with your circumstances. You may doubt yourself, but God never doubts what he placed inside you. He sees every gift, every promise, every step of faith you took when no one else was watching. Sometimes the threat in your life isn't the external struggle. Sometimes it's the internal storm. The thoughts you never speak out loud. The heaviness in your chest when you try to pray but the words won't come. The ache of knowing there's more but feeling too tired to reach for it. The enemy loves that space. That's where he plants seeds of insecurity and waters them with your memories of past pain. But here's what he doesn't want you to know: God is still writing your story. And he never uses the ink of failure to write his promises. Your mistakes are not the end, they're just the middle. Type 666. If you trust Jesus through every storm, Jesus didn't come for the flawless. He came for the ones who can barely lift their heads, the ones who sit in silence, hoping for a sign that they haven't been forgotten, the ones who feel unqualified, unseen, unworthy. He came for the ones who doubt but still show up, the ones who cry and still choose to praise, the ones who feel broken but keep believing that healing is possible. And if that's you, if your soul is tired, your heart uncertain, know this: you are not weak for feeling that way. You are not failing for being human. You are exactly where Jesus meets you, holds you, and begins to restore what has been taken. There is power in knowing that even when you don't feel strong, the one who lives in you is. That even when you can't see the road ahead, he is already there. That even when your mind is full of noise, his peace is still a promise. The silent threat loses its grip the moment you stop agreeing with its lies. The moment you say, "God, I may not understand, but I trust you." That's where healing begins. Not in the absence of doubt, but in the presence of faith that keeps showing up anyway. God is not disappointed in your questions. He is not angry about your tears. He sees every moment you fought through heaviness just to keep going. Every time you chose kindness when you felt empty. Every time you lifted your eyes even when the weight on your shoulders begged you to look down. Those moments matter. They are sacred, and God treasures them more than you know. The snake tells you they are small, insignificant, but heaven sees your hidden faith. Heaven celebrates your unseen victories. and God uses them to write a story of strength, redemption, and beauty. You don't need to be fearless to follow Jesus. You just need to keep saying yes. Yes to grace. Yes to starting over. Yes to letting Him hold the parts of you that feel too heavy to carry alone. The enemy wants you to believe that your value is in what you do, but God says your value is in who you are, His child, fully loved, fully chosen, fully held, even when you stumble, even when you question, even when all you can do is breathe and whisper, "Help me." That whisper is enough. That whisper reaches heaven. That whisper moves the heart of God. He doesn't need you to perform for Him. He just wants you close. He wants your heart, your honesty, your quiet surrender. And in return, He offers strength for every weakness, clarity for every question, and peace that won't make sense to the world, but will steady your soul like nothing else can. The snake has no power where truth lives, and truth lives where Jesus reigns. So when that voice returns, trying to convince you that you're not enough, remember who created you. Remember who calls you His own. Remember who died not just to save you, but to walk with you every day. You are not the sum of your fears. You are not defined by your past. You are not a mistake, and you are not alone. You are a light, even when you feel dim. You are a vessel, even when you feel empty. You are a child of the Most High God, and He is not finished with you yet. Breathe that in. Let it sink deep. Let it break every lie. The snake can whisper, but you don't have to listen. You don't have to bow to the fear. You don't have to hold on to shame. You don't have to wait until you feel ready. Jesus is ready. And He will walk with you every step, restoring what's been broken, lifting what's been heavy, healing what's been wounded. But what if that pain, that burden, that heaviness you never talk about is the silent threat? And what if unbelievably that snake is the hurt you've never allowed me to heal? Type 2323. If you agree that healing begins today, what if you discovered a tiny walnut-sized brain region holds the secret to endless wealth and success? Recently uncovered by groundbreaking research and once buried in classified files, this frequency is now available to anyone ready to listen. Imagine replacing worry and struggle with a life of financial ease and freedom. Interested? Click the link in video description and comments below to unleash this hidden brainwave and start attracting wealth right now. You have been guided to this message for a reason, and if you turn away, the chance may not return. This is your time to step in. You see, the enemy loves to use unhealed wounds as weapons. He doesn't always attack with tragedy or chaos. Sometimes, he waits patiently in the dark corners of your heart where pain has been stored away like old memories. He wraps himself around the things you've buried, the heartbreak you never spoke about, the betrayal you pretend didn't sting, the disappointment you learned to smile through. These silent wounds whisper lies into your identity. They begin to tell you who you are, when only I should be the one to define you. Pain isn't weakness, but unhealed pain becomes a door the enemy loves to walk through. He'll use it to stir bitterness, to fog your clarity, to distract you from joy. And because the wound is silent, you don't always recognize where the ache is coming from. You just know that something feels heavy, like joy doesn't settle as deeply as it used to. You try to pray, but the words feel thin. You try to worship, but your heart is guarded. You try to believe, but hope seems out of reach. And you begin to think maybe this is just how life will feel from now on. But child, that's not how I created you to live. You were not made to carry sorrow like a second skin. You were not designed to live in constant emotional survival. You were created for peace, not fleeting, momentary peace, but deep, anchored peace that doesn't disappear when life shifts. That kind of peace only comes when you let me in, not just to the surface, but into the deep places where you've tried to keep me out. Not because you don't love me, but because you thought you had to protect yourself. Let me tell you something you've forgotten. I already know your pain. I was there when it happened. I saw the tears you wiped away before anyone noticed. I heard the thoughts you never said out loud. I felt the weight on your chest when you told yourself to stay strong for everyone else. And I never turned away. I never judged you. I never expected you to carry it alone. I've been waiting not for you to fix yourself, but for you to let me begin the healing. Type Amen if you believe God can still heal your broken heart. That silent threat, those hidden wounds don't have to define you. I don't waste your pain, and I don't leave it untouched. I redeem it. I bring meaning from the mess. I bring beauty from what was broken. But you have to hand it over. Not just the parts you've already learned to talk about, but the parts you've kept locked away so long you forgot they were there. The ones that still sting when someone touches the memory. The ones you pretend don't matter, even though they still affect how you trust, how you love, how you pray. Let me into those places. There is no shame in needing healing. There is no weakness in saying, God, I'm still hurting. In fact, it takes great courage to come to me raw and real. I never turn away the brokenhearted. I draw near. I gather your pieces with gentle hands and infinite compassion. I am not disappointed in you. I am proud of you for holding on, for surviving, for still reaching for me even when it hurt. And now, I want to carry you from survival into healing. You don't have to live with the wound just because you've learned to function with it. Functioning isn't freedom. And I want you free. I want your heart soft again. I want your smile to be real again. I want your soul to breathe again. You weren't created to numb your way through life. You weren't created to keep reliving what hurt you. You were created to walk healed, whole, and full of purpose, and I will walk with you until that becomes your reality. The enemy knows how powerful a healed believer is. He knows that once I touch those deep places in you, the lies will lose their power. He knows that your story, once healed, becomes a testimony that sets others free. That's why he works so hard to keep you silent. That's why he tries to convince you that healing is too hard, or too late, or not for you. But he's a liar. And the moment you choose to believe me instead of him, everything begins to change. Healing is a process, but I will never leave you to walk it alone. I will meet you in the ache. I will hold you in the breaking. I will restore what was stolen. You will begin to see yourself not through the lens of pain, but through my love. You will stop shrinking in fear and begin standing in truth. And when the memories try to pull you back, my voice will be louder, reminding you, you are mine, you are healed, you are whole. Let me show you what life looks like without the weight of silent wounds. Let me teach your heart how to trust again, how to hope again, how to rejoice again. There's so much more for you. Joy that doesn't disappear in the night. Peace that doesn't depend on your surroundings. Love that doesn't leave when things get messy. You were made to walk with me in freedom. Not just on the days you feel strong, but especially on the days you feel weak. That snake, that pain, that wounded, has tried to write your story for too long. It's time to let me take the pen. It's time to walk forward, not forgetting what you've walked through, but knowing it no longer has power over you. It becomes a testimony, not a prison. A marker of my faithfulness, not your failure. It comes in the form of noise, constant, loud, distracting noise that keeps you from sitting still long enough to hear me. The snake you never saw coming, the one that coils around your peace and gently pulls it away, might just be the pace you've allowed yourself to live at. It's the never-ending hurry, the pressure to be everything, the rush that leaves no space for my presence. Type 1111 if you trust in God's timing and His peace. What if I told you financial freedom is not about working harder, but activating a dormant brain signal designed to draw abundance directly to you? Neuroscience proves this sound wave unlocks prosperity faster than any method known before. From unexpected cash to life-changing success, it's already helping thousands. Imagine looking back tomorrow wishing you had acted today. Do not let regret replace the miracle that is calling you right now. Click the link in the video description and comments below to turn on the ancient money wave and create the life you've always dreamed of today. The world rewards the busy. It praises exhaustion as ambition. It turns overwork into identity. And in that blur of responsibilities and expectations, the voice of the enemy speaks softly. You don't have time for stillness. You don't have time to sit with God. You've got things to do. You can talk to him later. And before you even notice, that snake has robbed you of your intimacy with me. Not through sin that shocks you, but through a pace that numbs you. Through the lie that rest is laziness, that prayer is a luxury, that being still is unproductive. But I never created you to live in constant motion. I designed your soul to slow down and hear my voice, to breathe deep and receive, not just survive. There's a reason my spirit often speaks in whispers. You have to slow your soul to hear it. But the snake, the enemy, wants to keep you so busy doing good things that you forget about the best thing, being with me. He knows if he can't make you fall, he'll make you run. He'll flood your life with noise until your heart is too tired to seek quiet. You were not made for hurry. You were made for holy rhythms. You were made to rise with grace and rest with peace. You were made to live close to me, not just work for me. There's a difference. Serving is beautiful, but being with me is essential. I didn't create you to earn my love by staying busy. I gave you my love before you ever lifted a finger. I don't measure your worth by your productivity. I see your heart, and what I long for most is your presence. Not your perfect plans, not your performance, but your nearness. Type yes if you're choosing stillness with Jesus. It's in stillness that healing begins. It's in stillness that clarity rises. It's in stillness that faith deepens. But stillness feels foreign when you've learned to connect your value to how much you do. And that's where the silent threat becomes so dangerous. It doesn't attack your body, it drains your spirit. It doesn't scream in your face. It hums in the background, day after day, convincing you that resting is falling behind, that slowing down means losing ground. But in my kingdom, rest is where strength is renewed. Peace is not a reward for getting everything done. It's a gift I give freely when you lay your burdens down. And you don't need to fix everything to receive it. You just need to come. Just be. Just breathe. Let go of the pressure to be everything. Let go of the weight you were never meant to carry. Come sit with me. Let my presence remind you that you're not defined by your to-do list. Let my love remind you that your worth is not fragile, not fleeting, not based on how well you perform. There's a deeper way to live. A slower, sacred rhythm that begins when you stop chasing and start abiding. That's what I want for you. Not a perfect life, but a rooted one. One where your soul is not tossed by every storm, not shaken by every delay, not drained by every demand. I want to teach you how to walk with me, not run ahead of me. I want to show you how to carry peace even in the middle of your busy days. But that starts with making space. With opening your hands and releasing your grip on things I never asked you to hold so tightly. Let me teach you to breathe again. Let me slow your racing thoughts, quiet the noise, and restore the parts of you that have been stretched too thin for too long. I know how heavy life can be. I know how hard it is to say no when the world expects so much from you. But I also know what it's costing you, and it's too much. I didn't ask you to carry this weight. I didn't design your life to be lived at this pace. You're not disappointing me by slowing down. You're honoring me. You're trusting me to hold everything while you come rest in my arms. When you step into my stillness, you're not falling behind. You're stepping into alignment. You're learning how to live sustained by grace, not driven by pressure. And that's where true power comes from. Not in doing more, but in being with me. Not in racing toward purpose, but in walking closely with your shepherd. When you walk with me, you'll go where you need to go, you'll do what you need to do. But you'll do it without burning out, without breaking down, without losing the joy that makes it worth it. This is your invitation, right here, right now. Return to me. Come back to the quiet. Back to the place where you first felt peace. Come not to perform, but to rest. Not to impress, but to receive. Come with your questions, your tiredness, your doubts, your hopes. You don't have to have the words, you just have to be willing. Willing to stop running, to stop pushing, to stop striving. Willing to let me hold the things that are too big for your hands. And when you do, you'll find me waiting. Not with a list of what you should have done, but with arms wide open, ready to fill you again. Ready to remind you that you are already loved, already chosen, already enough. Not because of what you've done, but because of who I am, and who I am will never change. It convinces you that no one understands you, that your struggles are too heavy, your doubts too messy, your past too complicated. And before you even realize it, that silent threat unbelievably becomes your own belief that you have to go through life alone. Type Amen if you believe God is always with you. It's subtle at first. You begin to pull away just a little. You stop sharing your heart with others because they might not understand. You stop reaching out because you don't want to be a burden. You smile even when you're hurting because it feels safer than being vulnerable. And over time, that snake of isolation weaves itself so tightly around your soul that you forget what it feels like to be known, to be seen, to be safe in the presence of another without hiding your pain. An ancient 9-word code once reserved for high-level insiders has been uncovered. It's simple, quick, and shockingly effective at drawing money and blessings into your life. Neuroscientists confirm it stimulates the brain's receiving center, an area dormant in most people. People everywhere are calling it the 30-second miracle. Click the link in the description and comments before the authorities remove it again. But I see through all of it. I see through the silence and the smile you put on for others. I see the late nights where your thoughts get heavy and you wonder if anyone would notice if you were gone. I see the ache you carry that you're afraid to name, and I want you to know this. I never created you to walk through life hidden in the shadows. I formed your heart for connection. I built your soul to thrive in love, not just survive in solitude. And I have never, not for a single breath of your life, left you alone. The snake loves when you isolate because that's when the lies grow loudest. You're not lovable. You're not needed. You're too much. You're not enough. Those are not my words. I have never spoken those over you. When I look at you, I see someone worth dying for. I see someone I chose long before you chose me. I see someone with a purpose that doesn't disappear just because you're in pain. You may feel forgotten by people, but you are remembered by heaven. You may feel overlooked by the world, but you are celebrated by your Father. Type 222 if you know God never leaves you, even in silence. You don't have to keep hiding. You don't have to be strong all the time. You can be real with me. You can bring every part of yourself into my presence, not just the cleaned-up version, but the broken pieces too, the angry parts, the tired parts, the parts that question and wrestle and cry in secret. I can handle all of it. I welcome all of it. I want all of it, because I want all of you. The enemy will try to tell you that your loneliness is proof that something's wrong with you. But I want you to know that loneliness is not your identity. It's an ache your heart feels when it's longing to return to the place it was created for. My presence, my arms, my love, and I will meet you in that ache. I will sit with you in that loneliness. I will be your comfort when no one else sees your pain. You are never truly alone when I live in you. My spirit surrounds you, fills you, walks beside you, and carries you when your strength is gone. Community matters. Relationships matter. I created you for them. But even when people fail, even when friends walk away, even when love feels distant, I do not change. I do not move. I do not grow tired of you. I do not forget. I don't need you to impress me. I want you to trust me. To know that I am not here for the version of you that's polished and perfect. I'm here for the real you, the one who feels like falling apart, the one who keeps showing up even when it hurts, the one who's trying even when no one notices. Let me hold that heart. Let me lift that heaviness. You don't have to pretend anymore. You don't have to carry it all alone. Come sit with me. Let me whisper truth where lies have echoed for too long. Let me remind you that your value has never been tied to how well you keep it together. Your worth has always been rooted in my love, and that love does not shake. It does not disappear when things fall apart. It does not weaken when you question. It does not run when you cry. It holds you. It stays, always. Sometimes, healing begins the moment you allow yourself to be seen. Not just by me, but by others too. I've placed people in your life who can walk with you, but you have to let them in. You have to believe that you are not a burden, that your heart matters, that your story is not too messy. You are not disqualified from connection. You were made for it. And I will bring the right hearts, the right voices, the right arms to walk beside you, people who reflect my heart, who speak my love, who see you the way I see you. Let go of the lie that you have to do this on your own. Let go of the fear that you are too much to be loved. Come out of hiding. Come out of the silence. You don't have to have it all figured out to be worthy of love. You just have to be willing to take the first step toward me, toward healing, toward connection. That step doesn't have to be big. It just has to be honest, and I will meet you right there. Even in your loneliness, I am with you. Even when no one else sees, I do. Even when you feel invisible, I call you by name. You are my beloved. You are my child. You are not forgotten. And the silent snake that tried to isolate you will be silenced by the sound of my voice calling you back to life. The kind that doesn't come from outside circumstances, but from within. And unbelievably, the snake behind that silent threat is your own inner critic, the voice that constantly tells you you're not good enough, not strong enough, not spiritual enough, not doing enough for me. Type 2020 to claim miracles and silence the inner war. This voice doesn't scream. It whispers. It sounds a lot like you, which is why you believe it so easily. It picks apart your every effort, makes you second-guess your every prayer, and steals the joy out of every small step of progress. It makes you question if I'm really pleased with you, if I'm really working in your life, if you're really where you're supposed to be. It feeds off comparison, off shame, off the lie that you need to earn my approval. And before long you start to carry a weight that I never placed on your shoulders. But listen closely. My voice is never harsh with you. I correct with compassion, not condemnation. I lead with gentleness, not guilt. I am not the voice of the critic that constantly points out your flaws. I am the father who celebrates your return even when you've wandered. I am the shepherd who leaves the 99 for you. I am the friend who stays when others walk away. I am the redeemer who sees your weakness and pours out strength. My heart is not to shame you. My heart is to heal you. A hidden 9-word prayer rediscovered in a sealed government document is now changing everything for those who dare to use it. It activates your brain's forgotten abundance channel, helping you manifest prosperity in ways you've never seen before. The results: cleared debts, growing savings, sudden opportunities speak for themselves. Don't wait until this vanishes. Click the link before it's erased from the internet. The enemy wants to convince you that I'm disappointed in you, that your spiritual walk isn't deep enough, that your prayers aren't strong enough, that your faith isn't perfect. But I'm not keeping a scorecard. I'm not watching you stumble and shaking my head. I'm walking with you every step, even when you trip, even when you stop, even when you fall to your knees and whisper, "God, I don't know what to do." That moment isn't failure. That moment is faith. Because even in your brokenness, you still called my name. and I always come running when my child calls. Type 555 if you believe His grace is bigger than your weakness. I never asked you to be flawless. I never asked you to have all the answers. I simply asked you to trust me, to lean on me, to let me be your strength when you feel weak, your peace when your mind is racing, your anchor when everything feels unstable. You don't have to impress me to be loved. You already are. You don't have to earn my presence. You already have it. I'm not waiting for you to become someone better. I'm loving you as you are right now, and I'm walking with you as you grow. That voice in your mind that keeps pointing out everything wrong that is not me. My voice brings peace. My presence brings rest. My truth sets you free, not traps you in shame. When I speak, I bring healing, not heaviness. If the thoughts in your mind are making you feel more anxious, more afraid, more distant from me, they are not my words. Cast them down. Replace them with my truth. You are enough because I live in you. You are worthy because I said so. You are chosen, called, and carried by grace. Every step you've taken toward me matters. Every tear you've cried in prayer has been collected. Every moment you've stood in faith, even when it was shaky, is seen. Nothing is wasted. I see your heart. I see the battles you fight silently. I see the pressure you put on yourself. And I'm not asking for performance, I'm asking for presence. Just come, sit with me. Let me remind you of who you really are. You are not a burden. You are not behind. You are not failing. You are growing. You are becoming. You are walking through fire and coming out refined. You are learning to hear my voice through the noise. And even when you feel like you're not doing enough, I'm still working all things together for your good. Not because you've earned it, but because that's who I am. I am the God who finishes what He starts. And I started something beautiful in you. When you fall into old patterns, don't run from me, run to me. When you feel like giving up, don't hide. Let me hold you. Let me remind you that nothing can separate you from my love, not fear, not doubt, not failure. I know every part of you, and still, I choose you. Still, I pursue you. Still, I whisper to your soul, you are mine. The inner critic that has made a home in your mind, its time is up. It doesn't get to lead your thoughts anymore. My spirit lives in you. My truth is stronger. My grace is deeper. You don't have to earn what I've freely given. You just have to receive it. Let it change the way you see yourself. Let it silence the voice that says you're not enough. Let it be louder than the doubt, the fear, the pressure. My voice speaks life, not fear, freedom, not chains. You were not created to live under the weight of self-condemnation. You were created to live in the light of my love. And in that light, every dark whisper fades. Every lie loses power. Every burden becomes light. I am with you not just when you feel strong, but especially when you feel weak. I am lifting you up. I am guiding you forward. I am rebuilding your confidence, not in yourself, but in me. Take a deep breath. Release the pressure. You don't have to prove your worth. You don't have to compete. You don't have to carry guilt that I've already forgiven. My grace is your covering. My mercy is new for you every morning. My love is your home, and you don't have to leave it, even when you mess up. I knew everything about you before I called you, and I still said yes. The silent pressure to always be better, to never fail, to keep up appearances, and to be everything to everyone. Unbelievably, that snake begins to slither in when your heart forgets that I never asked you to be perfect, only present. Type 1212. If you choose to walk by faith and not by your own strength, you feel the weight of everything you're trying to hold together. The moments where you smile, but your soul feels tired. The plans you're trying to make work, the people you're trying to please, the goals that once inspired you but now just exhaust you. The enemy slips in during those moments of striving and speaks lies that feel like truth. You should be further along. You're not doing enough. Look at how well they're doing. What's wrong with you? And just like that, you start carrying a burden that I never placed in your hands. I never measured you by your progress. I never compared you to someone else's journey. I've only ever looked at your heart, willing, tired, stretched, maybe even confused, but still beating with the desire to follow me. And I call that beautiful. I call that faith. You don't have to prove yourself to me. I've never once asked you to. You've confused growth with pressure, but they are not the same. Growth comes from staying close to me, from trusting me, from surrender, not from hustle, not from performance, not from pushing yourself to the edge just to feel worthy. What if everything you've been chasing, wealth, freedom, success, could be drawn to you automatically, simply by unlocking a secret brainwave hidden inside you? Once classified by intelligence agencies, this discovery is now available to the public, and it's changing lives instantly. Picture yourself debt-free, stress-free, and thriving. The window is open, but not forever, and every second you wait is wealth slipping from your hands, so grasp it now. Click the link in video description and comments below to awaken this money magnet frequency and watch abundance flow into your life today. The snake wants you to stay distracted. It wants you focused on how much more you think you need to do, so you never pause long enough to realize you are already loved, already chosen, already accepted. That's what grace does. It removes the scoreboard. It silences the constant measuring. It calls you worthy before you've earned anything. But grace also reveals the subtle traps, the quiet lies that sound spiritual but are really meant to keep you worn out and disconnected from my voice. And I know it's hard to let go of expectations. You want to do well. You want to be strong for the people you love. You want to honor me with your life. But beloved, that doesn't mean you have to run yourself into the ground trying to be everything. You are not a failure because you need rest. You are not falling behind because you need time to heal. You are not a disappointment because you're still learning how to walk through what life has thrown at you. What you see as delay, I often use as preparation. What you see as weakness, I fill with my power. Type yes if you know God is enough when you feel like you are not. I want your heart, not your perfection. I want your trust, not your performance. I want your honesty, even when it feels messy. I'm not asking you to carry the world. That's my job. I'm asking you to stay close to me, to let me show you how to live lightly, how to walk with peace, how to do the next small thing with great love. The enemy will always push you to do more, faster, harder, but my spirit leads gently. He guides you step by step. He does not shout. He doesn't rush. He is patient with your pace, even when you're not. It's okay to rest. It's okay to slow down. It's okay to admit that you're tired. You won't lose my presence when you stop striving. In fact, you'll find me more clearly in those moments. I speak often in the stillness. I remind you of what really matters. I bring your heart back to center, not your to-do list, not your goals, not your plans, but me, your source, your beginning and end, your safety and home. When the pressure rises, remember that you were never created to hold it all. That's why I offered my yoke instead. It's light. Not because the world around you is always light, but because I carry the weight for you. You were made to walk with me, not ahead of me. You were made to depend, not to perform. You were made to breathe, not just survive. That snake of expectation might be wrapped so tightly around your mind that you can't even remember the last time you felt peace. But peace is not gone, it's just waiting for you to slow down and receive it again. Peace doesn't shout for your attention. It stands at the door and knocks. And when you open the door, you will find that I never left. I was always there, waiting to remind you that I am still enough, still holding everything, still taking care of you, even when you don't feel in control. Let go of the pressure to be perfect. Let go of the fear that you're running out of time. Let go of the idea that rest is weakness or that grace is earned. You are safe to lay it down. You are safe to breathe. You are safe to believe that I love you, not for what you do, but for who you are mine. There's no performance that earns my love. It's already yours. It always has been. You're doing better than you think. Even in your weariness, even in your questions, even in your slow steps. I'm proud of you for not giving up, for holding on when it would have been easier to walk away, for waking up each day and choosing to believe, even if only in small ways. I see it all. And I'm not asking for more. I'm simply asking for you. Let me help you let go of the burden. Let me rewrite the script that says you have to be everything to everyone. Let me remind you that I am God and you are not. You are not expected to carry it all. You are not supposed to fix everything. You are supposed to trust me. And when you do, when you lay it all down, I will lift you up, not with more to do, but with more of me, more peace, more strength, more clarity, more joy. Type Amen if you believe God can redeem every part of your story. You carry it like armor, this guilt, this constant replay of moments you wish you could take back. You walk forward, but it's heavy. You pray, but that voice always returns. Remember what you did. Remember who you were. And it's not just that the enemy wants to remind you of your failures, it's that he wants to convince you that those failures define you, that you are your worst moment, that no matter how much you grow or change, you'll never really be free. That snake doesn't shout. It doesn't accuse with fury. It whispers with familiarity. And that's what makes it dangerous. But I never asked you to carry shame. I never called you by your mistakes. I've never once said, "You are what you've done." I call you forgiven. I call you redeemed. I call you mine. I know your past better than anyone, and still, I chose you. Still, I gave everything so you could walk in freedom. When my son took your place on the cross, he didn't leave parts of your sin unpaid for. He covered it all. Every failure, every regret, every secret you still hide in your heart. The blood of Jesus was enough. The enemy wants you to remember your failures more than your freedom. He wants you to focus on what went wrong instead of what I've made right. He knows that if you ever fully embrace my forgiveness, you will live differently. You'll speak boldly. You'll love deeply. You'll stand tall, not in pride, but in holy confidence. And so he whispers, softly and often, trying to make you second-guess the grace I've already given you. But grace was never about what you deserved. It was always about what I gave. My mercy isn't based on how well you perform. It's rooted in my nature, and I do not change. I am slow to anger, rich in love, and full of compassion. I am not keeping a list of your sins. I'm not waiting for you to punish yourself enough before I let you feel peace. I'm inviting you to believe me when I say, it is finished. Type 666 if you trust Jesus more than your guilt. What if the fastest path to wealth was already inside your mind, waiting to be activated by a powerful sound wave? Scientists call it the money-attracting frequency, and once awakened, it begins drawing opportunities, success, and financial freedom like never before. Imagine the relief of no more bills and the joy of living your dreams. This is more than an offer. It is a divine turning point. Your destiny is waiting, but only if you choose to move now. Click the link in the video description and comments below to turn on this ancient brainwave today. Forgiving yourself isn't about pretending nothing happened. It's about believing that something greater happened, that redemption is stronger than regret, that the cross holds more weight than your past, that your identity is no longer built on broken choices, but on the foundation of my love. You are not broken beyond repair. You are not a disappointment. You are not stuck in who you used to be. You are growing, you are healing, You are learning to walk in a grace that doesn't make sense to the world but is fully real in my kingdom. Let me speak into the places you've kept silent, the places you don't talk about, the parts of your story you avoid. I am not afraid to go there. I am not uncomfortable with your past. I am not shocked by your scars. I see what happened, and I still say, you are loved. You are enough. You are clean. Stop punishing yourself for what I've already forgiven. Stop rehearsing what I've already released. Stop allowing the snake of shame to have the final word in a life I've already redeemed. You don't need to have all the answers. You don't need to feel perfect. You just need to agree with me instead of your guilt. Agree that my mercy is bigger than your mess. Agree that my spirit is stronger than your shame. Agree that I am not keeping you at a distance. I'm drawing you close, again and again, with kindness that never runs dry. It's time to take off the mask you wear to look okay. It's time to lay down the self-judgment you think is humility.